So today I'm going to kind of go over some of just the basic features of Silhouette Studio with you guys. So this is the first video of just kind of my Silhouette tutorial / Silhouette videos. So I haven't done one of these in a really long time, and I also don't have my headphones, so if it's a little echoey, that is why I don't have like a microphone right by my mouth today. But I thought that the best thing to start off with, before jumping into anything crazy with this, would be to just talk about some of the basic features. Now this is just plain Silhouette Studio. This is not the designer edition. This is just the plain Silhouette edition that you can get from silhouette.com. So we're going to start over here. So as you can see right here, where I'm clicking, this says Design View. This shows you what view you're in, and that involves these three buttons right here. This one is your library, and it'll tell you you're in your library, and this one is the Silhouette Design Store. You obviously don't have to use this, but I have some free credits, so I use it on occasion. So that's what these are. So we're going to go back to Design View, and then we're just going to go down the line of these ones right here, and we're going to ignore what comes up over here until we get to that point. So this is your selection tool. This is where you can click and drag to select things that are on the screen. This one is your point editing, as it says, and for this one, I will come back to it. Basically, this is how you would edit a point, and I'll show you that here in just a second. This is your line tool, and this is what you can draw lines with. Now let me show you this point editing. So you click on your point editing, you would click on this and see how there's 2 points. You can click on that point, you can drag it somewhere else, you can click on, and then that made that, this little shape. Yeah, it'll take you back to your selection when you get out of it. You can add in points so that you can do this type of stuff. But that is what this button is for, is just to edit. And then also, I believe, oh, no, okay, so that's just what this tool is for, is to edit. And then you can click on this and click on your point and click delete point. There's a lot of other options. I don't use these very often though, I try not to use the point edit tool unless I'm making a page flag or something like that. This is your square rectangle tool that just gives you a squared pointed edge rectangle. This is your rounded edge tool. This is your oval / circle. It's a circle if you hold down shift. You can make it an oval if you don't. And then those are your basic shape buttons. And then if you want to just delete everything on the page, get your selection tool, go up and delete. This right here is this is I don't remember exactly what it's called, but I think it's called the Polygon Tool. Let's look. Yes, this is your Polygon Tool where you just click and you can start drawing things that have points on them. This is your shape curve. So what you do with this, you click, put here, and then, or click, and then you can move the points to make shapes like this, and it makes your curves for you. Again, these are some tools that I don't necessarily use all the time. This blue one right here is freehand drawing, so just as it states, you freehand draw. And then I'm going to go ahead and delete this. This one right here is smooth freehand. So when you draw it, if you're drawing a circle, it's not going to make it a perfect circle. But as you can see, my hand is really shaky right here when I'm going, and it'll make it into a smooth line. Okay, this is your draw and arc tool. So you click, and then you can see where it's measuring for you. So if I want a 180-degree angle, it'll say 180. If I want a complete circle, you can do a complete circle that way. You can even do smaller ones like that, and this will help you get a perfect circle. So I'll show you guys, I'll explain that one more time how you do it. You click one time, come out as far as you want, click again, drag it however you want, and then click to end it. And that's how you do that one. And this one is drawing a regular polygon, which you do just by clicking and dragging, just like you do with the other shape buttons. So you just click and drag, and you can also rotate it around. You can make it as big as you want. You can make it as little as you want. You can do them, overlapping like so. But that's what that tool is. And again, we're just going to delete the page. All right. Then this is your text tool. Simply click it, click over here, and then type. And then it obviously brings up your text style font menu that you have really anywhere. You pretty much use this the same way that you would use your text font stuff at like in Word. So let's say I don't want it to be Arial. I want it to be Basquiat, something like that. This is one that I downloaded. I'll click it. It'll change it. Just make sure if you aren't on it, it's not going to change it. So just make sure you have selected it like this. And then you can just go through, change it to whatever you would like it to be. And then you can also change the size this way. If you grab this bottom corner and you drag on a diagonal, you can make it bigger or you can make it smaller. Okay, you can't do it on this one, but that's how you do that. The green button rotates it. This is the eraser tool. I don't like the eraser tool. I try to stay away from it because, because when you do the eraser, the reason I don't like it is because it makes that line. So you're like, oh, I'm going to erase this, and then it makes lines, and I don't like that. So, and even if you do this, it oh, it didn't do it. Usually it does, it also does an outline, and I'm not a big fan of it. So I try to stay away from the eraser tool as much as possible. There are other ways to, erase things without having to use that. And then this is the knife tool right here. Obviously there's a lot of different options. I just use the straight one because I'm usually cutting a straight line. And you can hit the shift button to make sure that it always stays on a straight so that it's not crooked. But you just use this when people do full boxes that have the slits down the middle for planner stickers. That's what they use. Okay, we talked about these already, and then these I believe are just your design views. So this is your single screen of whatever you're on. And then this is like a double screen. I don't use the double screen. I don't need to use it. So I always just use a single screen and whatever I'm on. Now on to these top tools. So this is your new drawing tool. So it will open a new page. This is your open file tool. You can click it and then you can open your files. This is your Pics Can Image tool. I just now got a Pics Can mat. I've never used it before. I don't even really understand how that works, but I got one for Christmas. So once I understand the Pics Can mat tool, we will come back and talk about that. This is obviously your save button. This is your save to SD card button. I don't have an SD card in my computer, so I don't need to worry about that. This is your print button to print it to your computer. This is your send to silhouette button, one of them. To send it to your silhouette, you just click it, and then obviously mine's not connected because I don't have it with me. This is your copy button. This is paste. This is cut. And these all have computer keyboard functions, which is what I use. This is undo the change you made. This one's redo the change you made, which I can show better on this one. So undo changes you've made, redo changes you've made. This is the pan, so you would just grab this and you can pan around the screen using your mouse. This is zoom in, this is zoom out. This is to zoom in on a specific area, so if you've got something over here you want to see, you click that button, click that corner, and it goes right there. This is zoom in and out using your mouse, so you click that button, and then, I can't really help. Oh, there you go. You click and hold down, and then you can scroll up to scroll out and scroll down to zoom in. I don't really use this function. I just use the little magnifying glasses. It's much easier. And then this is fit to window, so you can go back to your normal size. These buttons are more related to other silhouette things. So this is your color fill button. You would draw your shape, and then select your shape, and color fill it, and then you have the advanced options where you can do transparency, things like that. This is your gradient fill. Fill it with a gradient. This is fill patterns. You can fill it with a pattern. You can also use this when you're wanting to put your own patterns, which I will talk about in a video. I've talked about it on my old channel, but I will make another one talking about it. This is your effects button where you can do gray shading, colorizing, contrast, brightness, saturation, gamma, sepia. You can change the tint, all that stuff. This is how you do an offset. I don't really use offsets very much. I use them in a particular character design when I'm doing my silhouette because I want the cut line to be a little further away from the shape I'm making, so you can do your offset that way. Some people actually use their offset to fill their pattern, and then the original drawing that they did, that's their cut line. I don't do that, but that is something you could do. This is line color, so you can change your line color. This is line style. This is where if you want to make this line visible that you just made, you have to turn this up, because if you don't and it's just at 0.0, the only reason that line is there is to show you the shape. That line will not print. This is another text button. This is just your text style button though. You can't like get to doing text this way. You have to go through this text button over here. This is your move button, so you can click and you can move up, you can move left, you can move down, you can move via the sliding things, which I didn't really know where that was going to go, so that's what that is. This is rotate, so you can rotate it via these, you can do that, you can do this. I don't use this button very often, and if I do, I really only use these ones, so I don't really know too much about these. This is your scale option, so 50, 300, 33. You can also do your custom scale. You can also do your specified dimensions, so if you wanted to make this 8.5 by 11, your width, you'd uncheck lock aspect, put 8.5, enter, by 11, and then that'll make it the right size. This is a line, so you can center it to the page, you can align it to the right, to the left, to the top, to the middle, to the bottom. You can space them. If you've got two things, you can space it out horizontally, or you can center it to the page. A lot of these buttons, honestly, I feel like are repeats, but that's okay. This is your replicate button, so you can duplicate the same shape to the left, to the right, above, below. You can use this option, I'll zoom out. You can use this option to mirror it all to the right. You can rotate this, you can copy and rotate. You can fill your page. There's a lot of different options here. I'm going to delete all of these. And then this button, this is your modify button, which has other things in it in and of itself that are for when you make shapes, so we'll talk about that more in another video. This is your trace button, again, something I'll talk about in another video, but this is actually how I get my drawings that I do on that I have scanned in for my characters. This is how I get them separate. This is your design page settings, so you can change your page size, what style you want this in, your view. I don't rotate my view very often, but I do sometimes. If you're using a portrait, like if you're actually going to be using you don't have to have the cutting mat behind it, you can just have the picture. I tend to put my portrait mat just behind it just because. You can take off this thing that says show print border, but this show print border just shows you where it will print, and then you can click on show cut border, and this will show you where it will cut. This button is registration marks. If you are going to be using a silhouette, obviously you would click this. I always click type 1 cameo portrait curio because this one seems to mess up the way my silhouette cuts. And then this makes, this shows your registration marks, so if you do this, and you have your cut line check, it will like show you where you need to stay in. I do not change these registration marks at all. You can, but I don't mess with that. This is just a grid, so you can turn your grid on, you can turn your grid off. This is embossing. I don't emboss, so I don't really know much about this because I don't have a curio, and to emboss you have to have a curio. Stipple, this is another silhouette curio thing. Don't have one of those, so don't know about it. This is your cut settings. This is something that when I get into making cut lines in a video, I will have to get into it because there are a lot of sections here. And then this is just another send to silhouette button. And then these bottom buttons are also just the modified tools that I showed you that are in this section. They're also down here, and there's also an offset button to open your offset menu down here as well. So those are just some of the basic silhouette buttons, tools, how you use it. You can also close this. I usually leave it open though because it's going to open when you click any of the buttons. But that's just kind of the basic how you kind of overview of the Silhouette Studio. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this, and hopefully I will get another video up soon for you guys. And yeah, if you guys have any requests on things you'd like to see, you can leave them in the comments. And I will see you guys all soon. Thank you. Bye.